Hello, my dear friends. My name is Dr. David Mitchell. I've been a practicing physician here in the United States for over 30 years, specializing in musculoskeletal health and senior wellness. Most of my career has been dedicated to helping people over 50 regain their mobility, reduce pain, and enjoy a more active, independent life. I currently work at a community hospital in Oregon, where I've had the honor of walking alongside thousands of patients on their journey to better health, many of them just like you. People who are wise, full of life experience, and ready to care for their bodies with more intention than ever before. Now, over the years, I've seen one particular issue come up again and again: muscle cramps. They sneak in during the night, interrupt walks, and make everyday movements uncomfortable. But here's the good news: in many cases, these cramps are not a disease. They're a sign, a quiet whisper from the body asking for something it's missing. It's truly a joy to see you again here with me on this ongoing journey, the journey of nurturing our health after 50. Today, I'd like to talk with you about something small, but that causes many of us to lose sleep: nighttime leg cramps. Have you ever been peacefully asleep only to be jolted awake by a stabbing pain in your calf? That kind of pain, sharp, sudden, can make you jump out of bed, rubbing your leg, waiting for it to ease up. I've heard this story from countless patients over the years: grandparents, uncles, aunts, who all once believed, maybe this is just part of getting old. But let me tell you something. Growing older does not mean we have to accept pain as our new normal. When cramps come back night after night, they're not just a nuisance. They're your body's quiet way of saying, hey, I need a little care. I need something to change. I want you to imagine this: an old car still running beautifully, but only when it gets the right kind of fuel. That's how our bodies work too. We don't need expensive treatments or complicated diets. Sometimes just a few simple, familiar foods can make a world of difference, helping us sleep better, move easier, and feel more comfortable in our own skin. In today's video, I'll walk you through 8 powerful food groups I regularly recommend to my patients: over 50 foods that help balance electrolytes, calm the muscles, and reduce painful night cramps. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll share some small but powerful tips: when to eat these foods, how to combine them, and insights drawn from over 30 years of working closely with older adults across the country. Let's start with a good old friend, the banana. I remember a patient named Linda, 67 years old, who once told me, "Doctor, I never imagined that one banana a day could help me sleep so much better." She used to get these terrible calf cramps so intense she was afraid to go to bed. But just a few weeks after adding a banana to her evening routine, Linda felt like she finally reclaimed her nights. You see, bananas might seem like an everyday fruit, but they're actually a mini power station of electrolytes. Each one packs about 420 milligrams of potassium, a key mineral that helps regulate nerve signals and control muscle contractions. But that's not all. I often tell my patients, if potassium is the general in charge of your muscles, then magnesium is the silent bodyguard keeping things calm behind the scenes. Magnesium relaxes your muscles, soothes your nerves, and fuels your cells so they function properly. A medium banana gives you about 32 milligrams of magnesium, and when you pair it with a few almonds or a handful of steamed spinach, the benefits multiply. Bananas also contain vitamin B6, which your body uses to create neurotransmitters and form healthy red blood cells. Many older adults I see suffer from poor sleep and twitchy muscles, often unaware that a simple B vitamin deficiency could be part of the problem. So when's the best time to eat a banana? I recommend about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. And here's a little trick I often suggest: pair that banana with a warm glass of water and just a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. It's a calming combination that's helped dozens of my patients find relief from nighttime cramps. Now, some of my older patients will ask me, "Doctor, I have diabetes. Can I still eat bananas?" The answer is yes, but with moderation and balance. Try half a banana and eat it with something high in fiber, like plain Greek yogurt or a spoonful of ground flaxseed. That way you slow down sugar absorption and avoid a sudden spike in blood sugar. You see, food isn't the enemy, it's your ally. And sometimes something as simple as a banana can be the key to a peaceful night's sleep, free from the pain that's been waking you up for far too long. A few years ago, I was sitting across from Mr. Henry, a 72-year-old retired Marine with a sharp wit and a surprising spring in his step. We were talking about winter stiffness, and I asked him, "Henry, how do you still move like that when it's freezing outside?" He gave me a grin, reached into his jacket, and pulled out a tiny jar. Handful a day, doc, he said. These little guys keep my legs quiet when the cold sets in. Inside were a mix of seeds and nuts. Pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews. I smiled because he wasn't just lucky. He was smart. You see, most folks don't realize just how powerful these humble foods really are, especially for those of us over 50. We often focus on big medications or fancy supplements, but sometimes real change begins with the smallest things. Nuts and seeds are packed with magnesium, and magnesium to me is one of the most underrated heroes in the world of muscle health. As we age, our bodies quietly begin to run low on it. Not because we're doing something wrong, it's just that the body becomes less efficient at absorbing it, and the foods we eat often don't provide enough. But when you give your muscles that magnesium, even from something as small as a handful of pumpkin seeds, the results can be felt. The twitching slows. The deep, sudden cramps begin to fade. You sleep better. What's remarkable is that one small serving of pumpkin seeds can offer almost 40% of your daily magnesium needs. Almonds and cashews offer less, but still plenty enough to matter. And it's not just magnesium. People always think of bananas when we talk about potassium. But did you know that pistachios, almonds, and cashews also bring a good dose of potassium to the table? This becomes especially important when you're losing fluids, whether from sweating in the heat, taking diuretics, or simply not drinking enough water. Those minerals, potassium and magnesium, help reset your system. They restore balance. They calm things down inside. And that's not all they do. The healthy fats in nuts like omega-3s and monounsaturated fats gently nudge your circulation in the right direction. They ease inflammation in the muscle tissue, helping blood flow more freely to every corner of your body. It's this smooth flow of blood, rich in oxygen and nutrients, that keeps your muscles from going into those painful spasms. Sometimes the cramps that seem to come from nowhere are really your body's quiet protest, a plea for better circulation, better balance, and less inflammation. The antioxidants in these little seeds, vitamin E, selenium, and a whole army of polyphenols go to work silently. They calm irritated nerves. They'll help all my nerves. They reduce that subtle creeping nerve inflammation that causes widespread aches, the kind of discomfort many older adults dismiss as just aging, but which might actually be something we can ease. That's why I often suggest my patients build a quiet ritual around nuts and seeds. Some stir them into warm oatmeal in the morning. Others toss them into a fresh salad or sprinkle them over cooked vegetables at dinner. And a few, my favorite group, simply enjoy them as a gentle, grounding snack before bed. That small act, it's not just nourishment, it's an invitation to rest away, to say to your body, I hear you. I'm listening. Let's make tonight a peaceful one. Of course, I always remind folks to choose the simplest versions, dry roasted, unsalted, and free from heavy oils. Salted or fried nuts can irritate the stomach or raise your blood pressure, which we certainly don't want. And if your digestion is on the sensitive side, start with softer varieties, chew slowly, and let your body adjust. You'd be surprised not just how good they taste, but how quietly they begin to change your nights. So when I think of that image of Mr. Henry with his jar of seeds in his pocket, walking steady through the chill, I smile because sometimes the strongest medicine comes in the smallest handful. You see, nuts and seeds, like pumpkin seeds, almonds, and cashews may be small, but they're nutritional powerhouses, especially for those of us past 50. As we age, one of the most common deficiencies I see in my patients is magnesium. And guess what? A single handful, just about an ounce a day, can provide a meaningful dose. Pumpkin seeds, for example, pack nearly 168 milligrams of magnesium in just that tiny serving. Almonds and cashews offer about half that, but they still play an important role in relaxing your muscles and calming those late-night cramps. But it's not just the magnesium. Many people think potassium is only found in bananas, but nuts quietly deliver too. Pistachios have nearly 290 milligrams of potassium per ounce. Even almonds and cashews contribute a decent amount. Now, why does that matter? Because muscle cramps often come from an imbalance in electrolytes, especially when we're dehydrated, sweating more than usual, or taking medications like diuretics. That's when magnesium and potassium become your best friends. They help nerves fire properly and muscles stay calm and supple. There's something else I love about nuts. They're rich in healthy fats, especially omega-3s and monounsaturated fats. These fats don't just protect your heart, they help reduce inflammation in your muscles and improve blood flow. That means your muscles are getting more oxygen and nutrients, making them less likely to cramp at night or after a long walk. And here's something you might not know. Nuts also contain antioxidants like vitamin E, polyphenols, and selenium. These nutrients help protect your nerves, especially the tiny peripheral nerves that can get irritated with age and trigger widespread cramping or burning sensations. I often tell my patients, especially those who struggle with sleep or wake up with tight calves, add a small handful of nuts to your day. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal, toss them into a salad, or enjoy them with a little yogurt before bed. It's not just a snack, it's a little daily ritual that nourishes your nervous system and helps your body rest. Of course, I always remind them to choose dry roasted or raw varieties, not the salty, oily ones you find in the snack aisle. And if you've got a sensitive stomach or nut allergy, we find gentle alternatives like ground seeds or nut butters that are easier to digest. These small choices matter, and over time, they make a big difference. Not long ago, I met a lovely woman named Judith. She was 70 years old, lived alone, and had been waking up several times a night with painful leg cramps. She looked tired, frustrated, and a bit worried. After sitting down for a full nutritional review, I noticed something common among many older adults. Judith was low in protein, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. I gave her a simple suggestion. Start your morning with a boiled egg and a small serving of lightly steamed spinach or kale. She raised an eyebrow. Just one egg? Yes, I nodded. Just one, but every day. 6 weeks later, Judith came back to my office, standing a little taller, smiling, a little brighter. I've been sleeping better, she said. No more cramps in the middle of the night, and my stomach feels lighter too. Eggs may seem like a humble food, but they're a gift to anyone over 50. Each egg contains about 6 grams of high-quality protein, and after age 65, our muscles begin to shrink faster. That's why getting enough protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's for anyone who wants to walk with ease, rise from a chair without effort, and sleep through the night without painful muscle spasms. Protein also helps repair the tiny wear and tear in your muscles, the kind of damage you don't notice right away, but that adds up over time and leads to soreness, stiffness, and those puzzling leg cramps. There's something else in eggs I want to highlight: vitamin D. I call it the muscle whisperer. Without enough vitamin D, your muscles can't properly relax. That's when cramps creep in, especially at night or after physical activity. Each egg yolk contains around 40 IUs of vitamin D. Not a huge dose, but meaningful when part of a consistent diet. And here's a tip: when you eat eggs with vitamin D-rich foods, like salmon or fortified milk, the benefits multiply. Let's not forget vitamin B12, another nutrient hiding in eggs that's crucial for older adults. A B12 deficiency can quietly cause nerve irritation, tingling in your feet, burning sensations in your thighs, or unexplained muscle weakness. And these symptoms are often misdiagnosed as just aging. Now, people often ask me, Doctor, can I eat eggs every day? If you're generally healthy, my answer is yes. Today's research shows that having one egg a day, about 6 or 7 eggs per week, does not increase heart disease risk in seniors. In fact, it may help preserve muscle, support your brain, and reduce nighttime cramps. As for timing, I often recommend eggs in the morning, perhaps in a light omelet with some greens. But they also work beautifully in the evening: steamed eggs served with warm rice porridge or a light soup. It soothes the body, eases digestion, and calms the nervous system before bed. Simple, gentle, powerful. I remember Dorothy like it was yesterday. A lovely woman in her early 70s, always dressed neatly, always polite, but clearly worn down. She sat in my office one morning with a tired look in her eyes and said, Doc, every single morning I wake up with my calves tight as a drum. It's like someone's pulling the muscles from the inside. She thought it was just one of those things that came with aging. When I asked her about her diet, she gave a little laugh and said, I know what you're going to say. And no, I don't eat vegetables, especially not those leafy ones. They taste like lawn clippings. I couldn't help but chuckle too and told her, let's start small, Dorothy. Just a handful of spinach or kale with dinner. Maybe drizzle a little olive oil on top. We didn't do anything fancy, just lightly steamed greens paired with her usual meals. 2 weeks later, I got a call from her. Her voice was brighter than I'd ever heard it. Doctor, she said, I can't believe it. My legs don't cramp up as much and they don't feel numb when I stand in the morning. You see, leafy greens are quiet healers. They don't shout, but they do their work deep inside. Spinach and kale are rich in magnesium, a mineral I call the peacekeeper for muscles and nerves. It helps your muscles relax instead of tightening up when you're trying to rest. Greens like bok choy offer plant-based calcium, gentle on digestion, and perfect for folks who don't do well with dairy. And then there are the unsung heroes compounds like lutein and vitamin K that quietly fight inflammation and improve circulation right where your muscles need it most. I often tell my patients, especially those over 60, treat vegetables like a bedtime ritual. Let a small bowl of greens be your body's way of winding down. You'll feel the difference not overnight, but soon enough to believe in their quiet magic. Now let me tell you about Peter. He's 65, retired from the insurance business, and always had a bit of that practical numbers don't lie attitude. He came in one day saying, "Doc, it's the strangest thing. Ever since I started doing yoga at night, my legs twitch when I lie down. Nothing painful, just annoying." I asked him, "How often do you eat fish, Peter?" And he wrinkled his nose and said, "Ugh, I can't stand the smell. I only eat it when my wife insists, which isn't often." I smiled gently and told him, "That might be part of the problem. Your muscles are running without their best fuel." Thankfully, his wife was on board, and soon they were grilling salmon together 2 or 3 nights a week. A few weeks later, Peter came back with a grin on his face. "I'm sleeping like a baby now, Doc. No more twitching." My wife says I don't even snore as much. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel aren't just tasty, they're nature's medicine for aging muscles and nerves. The omega-3s in them help quiet down inflammation that builds up in the muscles, especially after light exercise. They also support your nervous system, improving the way your brain and muscles talk to each other. Vitamin D, which comes naturally in fish like salmon, is another quiet helper. It helps your body absorb calcium and keeps your muscles from stiffening up. And of course, there's the protein. A nice piece of grilled fish gives your muscles exactly what they need to rebuild and recover after a long day, or even just a walk around the block. I often suggest pairing fish with a bit of steamed sweet potato and a handful of leafy greens. It's not just a meal, it's a gift to your muscles, your heart, and your sleep. Grace was one of those women you don't forget easily. A retired school teacher in her late 60s, she had a warm smile, a soft laugh, and a firm handshake that hinted at decades of caring discipline. She came into my clinic one afternoon looking puzzled rather than worried. "Doctor," she said, "I've been walking with my friends every day after lunch, just like you told me. But lately, after every walk, I feel this strange twitch in my calves, like the muscle wants to knot up but never quite does." We ran a few simple tests. Nothing serious, thankfully. But she was a bit low in potassium and vitamin B6, two nutrients that muscles need to contract and relax smoothly. I asked her if she had bananas at home. She grimaced. "Can't stand them," she said, shaking her head. "The smell alone puts me off." I smiled and said, "How about sweet potatoes? They're rich in potassium. Go easy on the blood sugar and they don't smell like bananas." She gave it a try. Just one small steamed sweet potato each morning. 10 days later, I got a phone call. Her voice had a kind of joy I hadn't heard before. "Doctor," she said, "I just came back from the park. Not a single twitch. My legs feel peaceful." You see, sweet potatoes are quiet healers. Rich in potassium more than bananas, actually. They help balance your electrolytes, especially after you've sweated or walked a little too long. The vitamin B6 in them keeps your nerves steady, so the messages from your brain to your muscles don't get scrambled along the way. And those bright orange pigments, that's beta-carotene, an antioxidant that calms inflammation and supports your muscles as they recover from daily use. What I love most is how sweet potatoes work with the whole body. Their soluble fiber helps digestion and keeps blood sugar stable, especially important for folks with type 2 diabetes who are more likely to experience leg cramps due to circulation issues. I tell my patients, steam or bake them in the morning. Add a hard-boiled egg, maybe a splash of unsweetened milk, or a slice of grilled fish if you like. It's not just a meal, it's a message to your muscles. You're safe. You're cared for. Let go of the tension. Mr. to you. James was the kind of man who carried the weight of wisdom in his posture. At 72, he walked slowly, spoke carefully, and never wasted a word. When he sat across from me one winter morning, he said something that stuck with me. I'm fine all day, he said. But when the lights go out and I try to sleep, my legs turn against me. Cramping so bad, I have to walk the halls just to ease it. He'd already tried magnesium, eaten his fair share of bananas, even soaked in warm baths before bed. Nothing worked. So we did a bit of digging, and sure enough, his calcium and vitamin D levels were both slightly below where they should be. It's likely poor absorption, I told him. Nothing you did wrong, just the way aging changes how our bodies use nutrients. I recommended something simple, one glass of fortified milk in the morning and another before bed. He raised an eyebrow. Milk, he said. That's it. That's it, I said. 3 weeks passed. He walked into my office again this time with a half smile that made my day. Doc, he said, I slept through the night, 2 nights in a row. That hasn't happened in years. The truth is, fortified milk can be quietly powerful. Each glass gives about 300 milligrams of calcium, just enough to help muscles contract and relax the way they should. Add to that a healthy dose of vitamin D, and you're improving not just absorption, but the communication between nerves and muscles. Milk also brings in quality proteins, casein and whey, that help keep your muscles from wasting away with age. And many brands include magnesium and potassium too, which are essential for muscle health, especially in older adults whose diets might be inconsistent or whose bodies don't retain nutrients the way they used to. I always tell folks, go for unsweetened fortified milk. 1 glass to start your day strong and another to end your day gently. And if you're one of those people who struggles with sleep, stir in a little cinnamon or turmeric. That's an old trick from my grandmother's kitchen, and I've shared it with patients for decades. It's not just milk, it's a quiet embrace for your muscles. A reminder that healing often begins not with something loud, but with something warm and familiar. Linda, a 68-year-old retired school teacher, never missed her morning walks at the park. But one day she came into my office with a puzzled look, not because she was in pain, but because of this strange heaviness in her legs. It's like I'm dragging a bag of sand behind me, she said. We sat down and talked through her diet, her habits, and her routine. It didn't take long to spot what was missing. Linda rarely ate citrus fruits, no oranges, no grapefruits, not even a slice of tangerine. A few dried apples here and there, some grapes from time to time, but nothing rich in vitamin C. So I suggested something simple: add 1 orange to her breakfast, or drink a glass of unsweetened grapefruit juice after her morning walk. At first she was skeptical, but just 2 weeks later I got a phone call. Her voice was so cheerful I could hear the smile through the receiver. Doctor, my legs feel light again. Walking is a joy now. It wasn't magic. Her body had simply been waiting for the right kind of nourishment. You see, vitamin C helps our body produce collagen, that special protein that keeps our muscles, tendons, and ligaments flexible. When those structures are elastic and healthy, cramps have fewer chances to sneak in. But that's not all. The natural antioxidants found in citrus, especially bioflavonoids in the peel and pulp, boost circulation, helping your muscles get the oxygen and nutrients they need. And the juice itself is packed with hydration and electrolytes like magnesium and potassium, the very elements we lose after sweating or physical activity. For older adults, I often say your body doesn't just need nutrients, it needs gentleness. Consistency. 1 orange in the morning, a squeeze of lemon in warm water, or a few tangerine slices with lunch. These tiny rituals can make a big difference. If your stomach is on the sensitive side, I do suggest avoiding citrus on an empty stomach. Fruit should bring more, not discomfort. Dear friend, after 50, every little signal from our body begins to matter more. They're no longer just passing sensations, they're gentle reminders. Sometimes they're asking for magnesium, sometimes for rest, and sometimes just for your attention. Muscle cramps might not be an illness, but a quiet message that it's time to nourish yourself better. With just a few thoughtful changes, a steamed sweet potato, a glass of milk and orange in the morning, you can sleep more peacefully, move more freely, and live more vibrantly. Taking care of your health isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about living life with more energy, more comfort, and more joy. If this video has helped you in any way, I invite you to click like, subscribe to Healthy Beat Path, and share it with someone who might be experiencing the same struggles. I'm Dr. David, wishing you strength in your steps, ice in your nights, and a life free from muscle cramps. See you again in the next video.